today. So I'm just adjusting the lighting a little bit. How are we all doing, guys? Welcome back to Ollie's ASMR World. Ollie's ASMR World. Hello. Is everyone well? I hope so. Especially with this whole petrol shortage and stuff. You know, if you drive, I hope you've been able to get some petrol. And if you don't, then hopefully you're not really bothered like me. We have a petrol station by us, like literally down the road. And the cars are not about today, but over the weekend from Friday. It's just been a long queue of cars for like 3 days straight, all day, all night. It's been crazy. I've even seen fights, like on TikTok and stuff, at petrol pumps. So I've been trying to adjust the camera position because I know when I finish recording I won't be happy with how it's turned out, so I apologise. I've been messing about a little bit there. Right, we're going to go ahead with how it is. Anyways, today's video is going to be something a little bit different. Yes, I know I normally talk about football a lot on the channel, especially on a Monday, but there is still one more Premier League game to go tonight. That is the Crystal Palace Brighton game. So I'm not going to talk football today. I thought we could do a sports ramble, where basically there's been a lot of sport on over the weekend. Mainly, you won't go, well, it's not just MMA, like boxing as well. I'm not too sure what the collective term would be for the two. But anyway, I want to get into talking about the boxing and the UFC. And we might talk a little bit about football, but not too much in this video. We also have the wrestling as well. So, Saturday night we had AJ taking on Alexander Usyk. Now, I cannot claim to be a major boxing fan. Like, I, over the years, haven't paid for a lot of fights on the box office. I paid for Ricky Hatton, Floyd Mayweather. That's going way back. You're talking like 14-15 years ago. I paid for Conor Mayweather, I believe. I think I did anyway. Or no, I think it's Manny Pacquiao against Mayweather. I've maybe paid for like 3 or 4 box office fights over the years. I usually try and catch them on YouTube, like the next day or whatever. You get the highlights and stuff like that. Or sometimes get the full fight. And if it's on BT, then they'll put the fight on the next week on TV for free on BT Sport. They do that with the UFC anyway. Like a Conor McGregor fight, charge 20 quid on a Saturday, and by Thursday you get it for free. So might as well save the money. Anyways, so AJ took on Alexander Usyk. I will be paying for Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder in October. That is a definite, because, well, we'll get into Tyson Fury in a minute. So AJ took on Usyk, and going into the fight, I didn't see any reason why Anthony Joshua wouldn't retain his titles. I'd heard interviews with Tony Bellew, who had lost his last professional fight to Usyk. That was after beating David Haye twice. Everyone at the time, well, I thought Tony Bellew would win that fight. Straight afterwards he announced his retirement, and he said, look, Usyk is the hardest boxer in terms of technical ability I've ever fought, which is saying something. And going into this weekend's fight between Anthony Joshua and Alexander Usyk, I mean, Usyk beat Anthony Joshua. He took his titles. Joshua afterwards looked dumbfounded. Now, we all know Joshua lost his titles in the past, within the last couple of years, to Andy Ruiz. And in the rematch, he beat Andy Ruiz. The issue we have here, with anyone thinking, oh, it's okay, he's done it once before, he'll just come back and win the titles back. The problem you have there is Andy Ruiz lost them titles because Andy Ruiz Jr. got lazy, and he's admitted that. I mean, how many big fights has he had since he lost the titles? You know, it's not like you're listening, hearing his name every day. It's not like you're watching him on the TV every week. I know he had one match after the Joshua loss, but I couldn't tell you who the hell he took on. And he just got lazy, basically. He put on a stack of weight. He was too slow in the rematch, and he lost. Anthony Joshua got his titles back, and obviously he performed better. Now, Alexander Usyk is not going to get lazy in between camps. If anything, he's going to get more confident. He's going to be more, he's going to be harder to beat than he was on Saturday. I've seen the highlights of the fight, and Joshua he wasn't awful, but he wasn't good either. And the best part is at the end of the fight, when they're about to raise the hand of Usyk, they announced the judges' scorecards, and Joshua's face is like, because he genuinely thought he'd won the fight, and he was in shock that they was announcing Usyk as the new champion, which is just bloody bonkers. How he thought he'd won that fight, and then straight away afterwards he's giving it, the positive one and all that stuff, and he just irritates me. AJ does. He really winds me up. You never get like a real person answer out of him. It's like always corporate AJ, if you know what I mean. He's just lost his titles. He should be pissed off. He should be angry. He should say, well, it was a positive experience to lose my titles. I've experienced new things, like the fact that his eye closed up in the 8th or 9th round, and he couldn't see out of it. He's like, that is a positive. I've never experienced that. Now I have. I'm like, mate, you should be angry. Oh God. Anyways, so AJ loses. Usyk is the new champion. There'll be a rematch, probably February or March next year. Which means Tyson Fury AJ is going to be put back even further. Over the weekend, I think it was yesterday, Sunday, AJ came out and said, I will fight Tyson Fury even without my titles. Okay, that is fine. But listen to that sentence there. I don't know if that was word for word, but he basically came out and said, look, I'll fight him. I don't need the titles to have that match. That is like going into business with somebody, okay? Like, say you're going to buy a house with your partner. You meet somebody, you get in on, you get together, you're together for a couple of years, you say, should we buy a house together? Yeah, okay. I will put 50% in, you put 50% in. Okay, that's not a problem. Brilliant, yeah. I can't believe we're so happy together. And then I turn around to my wife, or my girlfriend at the time, whatever, and say, oh, you know what? I can't now put 50% in because I've just given it away to Barry down the road. But I'll still move in with you, and I'll still live there. But you're paying the whole lot now. Where the hell is the reasoning I think of what I'm looking for here, for Tyson Fury to agree to a fight where I don't need titles to fight for more titles. And the fact that he knows he has a rematch with Usyk to get his titles back, and then came out and said after that, I still will fight for titles without my titles, tells me he knows there's a good chance he ain't going to be winning them titles back off Usyk, and that he might be going into a potential fight with Wilder or Tyson Fury's waist. So worrying times for AJ, and I just think he's being shown up for what he is. He's a one-trick pony. He went in there against a lot of old, good boxers. Klitschko was in his 40s, Pulev I think was in his 40s. Ruiz was out of shape by a hell of a lot. Fury, when he beat Klitschko, was the first person to beat him, did it proper. He's in there against Deontay Wilder twice. Tyson Fury's the real British people's champion. And where my family live, my mum and my dad, they're not together, but the area they live, where I'm from. So there's my mum's house, and you go down like a road, and there's Tyson Fury's house. So I've passed by that a few times over the last couple of years. And he's often to be seen run up and down the prom on Morecambe Beach and whatnot. You can just see him. Oh, there's Tyson. Easy as you like, really nice bloke. And I think you'd see AJ doing that. Not without a camera crew and everything else anyway. Tyson don't need that. He'll stop and have a chat, regardless of whether he's being filmed or not. Really nice bloke. So I was always going to pick Tyson Fury to beat AJ, but now that this has happened, I'm even more confident. So, also on Saturday, we had the UFC 266. This was a fight card I was really looking forward to. There were some great matches on there, from Curtis Blades against Jairzinho Rosenstrike. We had the return of Nick Diaz. We had Dan Hooker. I mean, how the hell he was able to fight, I do not know. Yeah, we had Valentina Shevchenko taking on Lauren Murphy. We had Alexander Volkanovski in the main event, defending his title against Brian Ortega. So it's a really good card, stacked card. Let's get into it. So, my days of watching UFC goes back to when I was like 17, or maybe 18, something like that. And what back then, I can't remember what channel the UFC used to be on. I think I'm sure it used to pop up on Bravo, which was like an old Sky channel, but it wasn't on like, you wouldn't get UFC on Sky Sports or whatnot. This was before it became mainstream UFC anyway. You had no Conor McGregor, no John Jones, you had Chuck Liddell back then, and Randy Couture, Tim Sylvia, Nick Diaz and Robbie Lawler, and those people. So, TOTs as well. Now, I used to get DVDs of the UFC. I didn't have a lot of them. I had probably had 4 or 5. And I got the Ultimate Fighter Series 1 and 2 on DVD as well. And I remember watching this one fight on the DVD, and I didn't know who these people were back then, like these two young kids, Nick Diaz and Robbie Lawler. And I remember watching it, I was like, what the hell? And I don't think it was that fight, I think it was another fight where Nick Diaz knocked somebody out with a high kick. I'm sure he did. I mean, talking 17 years ago, I'm pretty sure that's correct. But that Diaz Lawler fight was fantastic. I was like, wow, this is amazing. And then, so when I heard Nick Diaz was coming back to take on Robbie Lawler, I was as excited as anyone. 17 years minutes later, I was like, whoa, yes, let me see that, I cannot wait. Unfortunately, as we seen on Saturday, it didn't go the way we'd hoped, or the way I'd hoped. Nick, in the end, quit in the second round. A crack to the jaw and bleeding from the nose, and I've had enough, basically said. It was sad to see. Not so much the giving up, I was glad he got out of there when he did because I didn't want to see him take any more damage. But it was sad to see that a legend of this sport who's been gone for like 5 years due to a suspension and just not wanting to return for a while. Just to see like them not being the old Nick Diaz I remember watching. When he first came to the octagon, the first thing he did was throw a spinning high kick. I was like, what the hell? Yes, the old Nick is back. I was dead excited. And then he started throwing punches. I was like, what? I could throw quicker than that. He looks so slow and laboured. But then he started catching Robbie. Robbie got in a lot of offence early on. I thought, oh shit, here we go. And then Nick started throwing punches out, which every single one was landing. I was like, he's piecing Robbie up here. Flipping heck. Got into the second round and that shot landed. And I think Diaz was just like, I don't want this. I thought I wanted it. I really don't. I want to get out of here. This ain't for me. And I don't think we'll see him again in the UFC. Not in the octagon fight anyway. And that's probably for the best. I mean, nobody wants to see Nick Diaz, a legend of the sport, being beaten up by younger guys, because if he can't handle Robbie Lawler, who is of a similar age, there's no chance in hell he's going to handle a younger, faster competitor. So yeah, I do hope Nick just walks away now, knowing that he's tried it one more time and it just didn't work. Valentina absolutely battered Murphy, which I think we all seen coming. I don't think Murphy landed a single shot on Valentina. She probably did, but didn't do any damage. It was just a beat down. Dan Hooker. Now Dan Hooker is from New Zealand, and in New Zealand they have had some of the strictest lockdown laws around. Even at the minute or recently, they've had another full lockdown where like everything is off. Everyone's staying indoors. They basically had like, when they announced it, they had like 5 hours to get to where they want to be, and once they were there, they weren't allowed to leave. He owns his own gym in New Zealand, and he wasn't even allowed to go and train on his own with nobody else there at all. Just him, like on a treadmill. He wasn't allowed to do that. So he booked a flight to the US back in May. Bear in mind we're now in September. He booked it in May for September. And he said to Dana White, look, I need a fight for this particular night. I don't care who it is. Just, I need a fight. Because there's only like so many flights out of New Zealand. And you have to give the government so much notice that you can be leaving and coming back. And he has to go back like a week on Thursday. So this Thursday coming. If he doesn't make that flight, then he'd have to wait like 2 months to be allowed to go back or something like that. It's bloody bonkers, their laws in New Zealand. And he basically said, you know, I'm flying on Thursday, I get in Friday morning, I'm fighting on Saturday night. It's like, that is ridiculous. But he kicked arse. He took on a bloke called Nasrat, I think his name was. And he beat him on the prelims. It was a shame for the other bloke, that Nasrat, because he lost his mum in the last week or so, and yet still took part, so fair play to him, big respect. Back to the main card, we had Curtis Blades stopping Jorginho I don't think he stopped it, did he? I think it was a points decision. I'm not a fan of Curtis Blades. One of my favourite knockouts that I've seen in recent times was the Derrick Lewis knockout of Curtis Blades. He caught him with an uppercut as Blades was coming in, and he just went flat on his face. I was like, whoa. It was a scary knockout, don't get me wrong. From what I remember, Curtis's feet were twitching for a while afterwards, whilst he was out for the count. Wasn't nice to see, but it was a good one. And I'm just not a fan of him. His wrestling styles bores the crap out of me. So yeah, he beat Jorginho, who I think is a bit of a one-hit wonder. Really, like if he cracks you, you're gonna go out. But chances are he's not gonna crack you that many times. Who else did we have on the card? Valentina, Chris Blades, Dan Hooker, Nick Diaz. We're on to the main event now, aren't we? Let me have a quick look, just make sure I've not missed any fights here. Don't think I have. Anyways, if you all had a good weekend, let me know in the comments if there are any sporting events you've been watching this past weekend. Maybe you watched the golf. I know the Ryder Cup's been on. I'm not a golf fan. I've played it once when I was a kid. Didn't like it. Mini golf any day of the week. We also had Jessica Andrade beating Cynthia Calvillo with a first round knockout. TKO rather. I didn't get to see the Marlon Moraes fight. I forgot that was on the prelims. Stupid me. Might try and watch that still. So yeah, we're on to the main event, guys. The main event was Alexander Volkanovski defending his titles against Brian Ortega. And I would Ortega in this one. He's fought for the title before against Max Holloway. Got battered against Max. And he had two fantastic chances against Volkanovski. Now, my thoughts on Alexander are a little bit... Yeah, okay. So he fought Max Holloway and beat him. Credit to him for that. The first fight he won. He won the title. He was the champ. He beat Max Holloway, the great Max Holloway, who didn't start really fighting until the fourth round of that fight. And when he started turning it on in the fourth and fifth, he could have beaten Volkanovski, but he'd already lost the first 3 rounds. They had a rematch. The rematch, Volkanovski lost. I don't care what you say. Max won the rematch, but they didn't give him his title. Alexander retained. So going into this fight, I was hoping for a Ortega win. We didn't get it. He had 2 great submissions, but he left it until like the 4th and 5th round, I believe, or the 3rd and 4th. I didn't understand because how good his ground game is, his jiu-jitsu and stuff. I didn't understand why he didn't try and do it in the first couple of rounds when he was fresh, when his arms were already knackered. At one point, Alexander's head turned purple when he was being choked out. I was like, he's got him. And fair play to Volkanovski, he was able to get out of there with his head still intact somehow. So we had Volkanovski retain his title, which annoyed me a little bit, but I wasn't surprised. I wanted Ortega to win, but I didn't expect him to win, if you know what I'm saying. I always sort of knew he probably wouldn't win that fight, and I was just sort of living in hope. But yeah, it's a really good card. We've got UFC 267 coming up, and there's a load of fights this year still to happen. We got Usman taking on Covington, number 2. Looking forward to that. Dan Hooker said afterwards he's been calling out Tony Ferguson, but Ferguson doesn't want to know. I think he called out Bilal afterwards. Yeah, that fight doesn't interest me too much, but there is talk of Bilal being surgery he's got to have. So Makachev is now looking for a new opponent. Who that'll be, I'm not too sure. Anyone who takes on Islam is looking at trouble. I've got to say that. Anyways, I've got to pop out. I want to come back and finish this video. We'll talk a little bit about WWE's Extreme Rules, which I've not watched, but I'll watch highlights later. We'll go through the results in about 10 minutes. I'll be back about 10 minutes. See you all in a minute. Bye. Hey guys, we're back. Oh, well, to you lot, I didn't go, but I've just been gone for about 20 minutes. Anyways, let's get into WWE and Extreme Rules. Now, I'd be lying if I said I'd watched the event, because I didn't watch it. I will watch. Apologies for this weather. I will be watching the highlights later on. I'll find some on YouTube. Just popping the microphone on top of my phone case. No, I'm not. Yeah, so I will watch the highlights rather a bit later on from Extreme Rules. From what I've heard, wasn't a great show. Some alright matches on there, like some big time matches, which sometimes WWE just feels a little bit forced. Like, do we really need another pay-per-view when you have the one in Abu Dhabi coming up in the next few weeks, where we'll have Brock Lesnar taking on Roman Reigns for the title. So, at Extreme Rules we had Finn Balor losing to Roman Reigns. Apparently Balor came as the demon and he went to do some sort of move off the top rope, but the top rope collapsed and Roman hit a spear. That was after interference from the Usos. I would have been eating this hat right now if Finn Balor had won that match. How the hell could he win the match when Roman already has another match for his title set up against Brock Lesnar? Oh, sorry Brock, Roman doesn't have the title now, so you can't fight for it. Now that ain't gonna happen, is it? The Usos defended their tag titles against Street Profits. Usos retain, which again is no shock. The Bloodline needs the titles, it makes them appear more important. The New Day defeated a tag team of Bobby Lashley, AJ Styles and what's his name? Let's have a look, I forget his name. AJ's bodyguard. Oh bloody hell, where are you hiding at? Almost. Yeah, AJ Styles, Bobby Lashley and Almost lost to the New Day. Big E not defending his title at Extreme Rules. We had Flair beating Bliss, which is no shock, is it really? Who the hell would have put anyone on Alexa Bliss winning that match? Damian Priest defended his title in a triple threat match against Sheamus and Jeff Hardy, with Sheamus taking the pin. I'm not interested, I've got to be honest. I like Sheamus. I like the three of them. He's got to be my favourite. And he has these spells where he's involved in some really good feuds and he puts on some great matches. But then at the same time, he gets into some feuds I just don't care for. I mean, how the hell? You can't find room for a Cesaro on this card, a Kevin Owens, a Sami Zayn. Who else did I just think of that is on this card? I can't remember, there's a few. You know, I mean, obviously with Ray, they're doing this whole thing where his son turns on him. Dominic is going to turn on Rey Mysterio in the next few weeks, which I could have told you about 6 months ago. Nakamura, he's not on the card either. Some great wrestlers, some great talent, just not on here. No Seth Rollins. Edge is making his return on SmackDown this Friday, so we'll see Rollins and Edge again at some point. Okay, so here we go. I was reading a report here. Sasha Banks running to. Okay, so Belair continued to fight back until she put Lynch up for the kiss of death when Sasha Banks ran in to deliver a shove and draw the disqualification. Lynch then gave Banks a nod, but Banks attacked, laying both women out and posing over the title. So we're going to get a triple threat then, aren't we? Banks, Belair and Lynch. I like Becky Lynch. It's a good laugh. She's really good on the microphone. Roman retained, as I said. What else happened? I think that's about it. I don't think there's any other matches. Liv Morgan defeated Carmella. Whatever. Yeah, looks like that. There's no pre-show, I don't think. Or if there was, there's no information on here about it. So that's another average WWE card. And it comes to something when AEW are putting on pay-per-view worthy events as a midweek show. Their Grand Slam Dynamite and Grand Slam Rampage were pretty impressive. I can't get Rampage because we don't have the American channel where it's on. So I catch it on YouTube. I found a half-hour highlight show yesterday for Rampage. It's good to see Adam Cole and the bloody hell Young Bucks. They call themselves the Super Clique. And they won their matches on Rampage against Jurassic Express and Christian Cage. That's the one thing I don't like about AEW though. They're some very good wrestlers that are former WWE stars. Then they have some that are former WWE stars because they're not at that level anymore. Matt Hardy, really, do you need him cluttering up your TV show? Christian Cage, I know he's still in good shape, but come on, you don't need a Christian Cage on that show. When AEW first started, I watched their first show and I've watched it ever since. They had some people I'd never heard of, fair enough, Sonny Kiss. What's his name? He's got crazy hair and bad teeth, I forget his name now. But there was a few. And then there was like the bloke who, like, he works in a library and stuff. And I know they're not people you necessarily make main eventers, but they're being pushed right down onto like AEW Dark now. They can't even get on the main shows on Rampage or Dynamite, which I think is a bit shit because they helped start that company. They are the original guys that we saw back then. And maybe now they just have too much talent in AEW. I'll do a video one day, we'll go through the list. Yeah, that's what we'll do. Anyway guys, hope you enjoyed this video. I'll see you all again very soon. I've knackered myself out here. Cold coffee. I'll see you all again soon guys.